Hello and welcome everyone, Tyrael here. This idea just randomly popped into my head. What are, or who are rather, the top 10 people in Clash of Clans that people don't really know about? Now, a lot of you may know some of these. I have excluded people who are famous on YouTube and famous on Twitter because a lot of you will know that. Now, some of you out there will know some of these, but I doubt there is anyone out there except maybe one or two that will know every single person on this list. And there's a reason for every single person on this list, and I'll explain it. I thought I'd just start in chronological order and start with Gary Tao. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But he was the number 3 player under Vizia and George Yao for a long time. Now that's nothing too particularly special. Now you can go into the fact that he was a P.E.K.K.A player back before the Dark Barracks. And then when the Dark Barracks came out, he was one of the first to use Go Wipe. So technically he was considered the father of Go Wipe. But that's not why he's on this list. He's on this list because he was one of the first players to be outspoken for fair gameplay. Now back before there were all these programs that people used to get an unfair advantage, there would be players like, for example, George Yao, who would use 5 accounts to keep themselves shielded at all times. Gary was really outspoken against, and he tried to get Supercell to do something about it. I don't think they ever really did anything, except they changed the revenge timer so that you couldn't revenge yourself if you had 2 different accounts. You just get attacked too quickly to revenge yourself. And Gary, as far as I know, has quit. But he was the first player outspoken against cheating and foul gameplay in the entire history of Clash of Clans. That is why he gets the first spot on this list. Keeping on the same subject with people who are outspoken against foul gameplay, there is Thor Zane, although he has a different name now. I don't even know if he still plays. I haven't talked to him in a while. Thor Zane was one of the first to be outspoken against the programs, and he actually did a lot of work with Supercell to help get rid of players who are using it in the top leagues. This made him pretty much unpopular. He eventually had to change his name in the game. I'm not going to say who it is now in case he still plays. And you know, I used to be on good terms with him, but then when I mentioned in the video that his clan had 4 cheaters in it, which he did, to his credit, get rid of. As soon as he found out that they were using programs that they shouldn't be using, he removed them from his clan. He didn't really want to speak to me anymore after I made it public. But he definitely deserves recognition for all the work he did to cleaning up this game. Number 3, a completely different subject, is Because. B-C-U-Z-Z. He is one of the first Lunioners and one of the best Lunioners I've ever seen. Not the very best, but one of the best. He got me interested in Lunion. That's why I'm leading into the 4th person, Lunar Legacy. Lunar Legacy, after I became interested in the Lunion, taught me how to Lunion. Now, why is that important at all that I learned Lunion? Because I learned it a little before I met White Lighting. Before I met him, I had just learned Lunion, and as soon as I met him, he saw it and was interested in it, and he started doing it on his channel. Because his channel is so big now, so popular, so many people are interested in Lunion. So without Because or Lunar Legacy, White might not have gotten into Lunion and not spread it to 200,000 people. So without number 3 and number 4 on this list, there would be thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who wouldn't know much about Lunion. Maybe. But that could be up for debate, because I can't see how life would have been if I hadn't showed it to White and they hadn't showed it to me. But speaking of my clanmates and armies, now I had to pick a Bartcher. You got Howie, he barched to the top 200. You got Family Shucks, but Family Shucks has a YouTube channel, even though he doesn't really post anymore, not too much. He does have a YouTube channel, so I guess he's barred from being on the list, but Family Shucks would be up there in Barchers. So I had to pick a Bartcher. So I went back in time, back to 2013, early 2013, with Cosmi. Cosmi, C-O-S-M-I-I. I know, I don't know why I spelled like that. Maybe that's his name. But he was the pioneer of the Gold Star Army. It was a Bartsch with 1 Rage, I believe it was only 1 Rage, and a P.E.K.K.A. And he used that to get to the top 200. He was one of the first, if not the first player, to reach the top 200 with Bartsch. Everyone else was using Go Wipe or, you know, P.E.K.K.As or Dragons or whatever. They were using big armies. He was the first that I can recall ever reaching the top 200 with Bartsch. And I think I was there in the clan with him when he did it. That was back in the first Midnight Sky clan. Now, we're gonna move on from that and move on. Okay, I'm breaking my rule. This guy's technically a YouTuber, but he hasn't been on the YouTube scene for very long. His name is Brandon. He's becoming pretty famous right now. What he did, he was the first player to hit the maximum level. Level 300. Now, there was level 200 cap, level 100 cap, and then there was, like, the level 300 cap was the most recent. They raised it. He hit the level 300 cap before they could update it and raise it. Not only that, but he also, just like me, farmed his base to the max. He farmed every single thing. The only thing I have to hang my hat on is I finished a little bit before he did. That's all I've got. I still have 161 levels to catch up. Now, because I don't have much time, I'm going to move right on to Mastermind. Mastermind lives up to his name and has become increasingly more well-known, especially after an interview with Daddy. He didn't just create the idea for quests. He created so many amazing ideas that we can very likely see, or expect to see, very soon in Clash of Clans. Now, maybe in the next year or so, that's really roughly what I mean by very soon. But he just comes up with non-stop great ideas, posts amazing threads on them. If you don't use the forums, I suggest using it for only one thing. Use it to look up his threads, because he has a bunch of amazing ideas, one of which was already added to the game, and that was the idea for multiple saved base layouts. Supercell, at most, was toying with the idea when Mastermind came up and made this amazing thread, and you know what, the base layout, this whole thing, the save, that kind of looks like how he designed it, all the different bases. He said that we should have 4, but instead we have 3 regular bases and 3 war bases. So, you know what, it's not much different. His idea was added to the game, and we can expect to see a bunch more. Right now, he is the premier idea guy out there. Now, this next one is a bit controversial. A lot of people in his time did not like him. Pedro Lee. His name in-game isn't Pedro Lee anymore. He had it changed to his native tongue. But Pedro Lee was the one that brought us farming, us being the people who weren't in the know. Basically, back then, in 2012, farming was what some people did. Some people knew about farming, the rest just pushed because Town Hall 8 was the max, and who cares about loot? But there was a select few in certain groups, certain clans, that were farming, and they were trying to hide it from the rest of the community because there wasn't that many people playing the game back then. So if you had like half of them, which wouldn't be hard to contact, rush down there and drop their trophies and start farming, you would destroy the farming leagues. But Pedro Lee went out of his way, and sure, he was done farming at the time when he shared it. That's why a lot of people gave him crap about it. But he still brought it forward with his thread, Farming 101, where he explained to all the people that had no idea about farming what it was. And now farming is what everybody does. It was the first step in the long chain of events that led us to the game we have now, where 90% of all players are farmers. And without Pedro, I probably wouldn't even be playing the game right now. He had a thread, Farming 102, in which he challenged people to farm level 10 walls. I was bored. I'd already started on level 9 walls, and I was thinking, oh god, farming. And it's like, oh, a challenge. Well, now it's a competition to farm level 10 walls. I'm only on level 9. So I went ahead and I took the challenge, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I just kept going till I maxed out Town Hall 10. In the process, I created a YouTube channel. I wouldn't be here without Pedro Lee, and there certainly wouldn't be as many farmers as there are now if it weren't for Pedro. Keeping with the forums is Sneaky Dave. Sneaky Dave was the first player to hit level 100 as far as I know, and he was a moderator, very helpful guy. He was one of the leaders of In the Dark, one of the largest clans ever, and he's just been a big part of the community and a bridge between the players and Supercell for a very long time. And he definitely deserves some recognition right here. I don't think he plays anymore, which means he's all the more deserving of it. A send-off, if you will. And number 10 is not a single person, it is a group of people, and I guess technically since one of them's a YouTuber, it's kind of breaking my rule again, but it's the moderation staff on the forums, because they actually talk with Supercell, and they're players, they're us, they're on our side, and they actually have done so much for us. Like, say just Zach UVA, former clanmate of mine, a moderator. In his signature on the forums, you can actually find the pretty much exact formula for how trophies are calculated, and you can see everyone that says they got more than 60 trophies is probably lying if they don't have picture proof, and if they actually did find it, it's a huge glitch in the game. Just like when I found 0 trophies, you're not supposed to be able to find 0. I just accidentally stumbled across it and was pretty pissed. I was. There was a video on it. I was pissed that I found 0 trophies. I'd been searching for an hour in Champions League, and up comes 0. Not even 1, 0. But he shows to anyone who wants to see exactly how trophies are calculated based on your difference in trophies. And then you've got all these other people that help us organize all these events, and they speak on our behalf. They're actually players like us, so they're on our side, and they speak directly to Supercell pretty much on a daily basis. These people are always there to help us, and they definitely deserve this recognition. And if you think I missed anyone, because I probably missed a lot of people, put them up here. Now, you gotta kind of go with the not YouTubers kind of deal, because, you know, Chief Pat, obviously, he reaches 1.5 million people or more. Some of his videos have several million views. Obviously, he's going to be influential, and he's a player, so he's on our side. So, you can't really put someone like Pat, or Daddy, or Galadon up there, because they will obviously always take it all in. They will always be the top. But these are the people that you don't know about. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Tyrael.